Hey guys, welcome to the Piggy Review, and today we're going to be talking about my top 13 favorite anime of all time. Now, some of you got a couple questions. Piggy, why are you redoing your top 10 favorite anime of all time? A couple reasons for that. First of all being that I really didn't put too much thought into the list at the time, and I just really kind of just wanted to put a video out there, and I'm just really trying to rush it. This time I actually put a lot of thought into it and put a lot of thought into what I will have to say about each one of these shows. And let's face it, the first one was utter crap. In fact, you've probably noticed I deleted it off my channel because it was just such utter crap. Now, another question you might have. Piggy, you did another intro again. Yes, I did. I have a person I consult with on how to improve each episode, and one of the things he suggested was I shorten the intro a little bit because 36 seconds was a little bit too long. And I've also been watching a little bit of Driftors, how to make a good YouTube channel. Pretty good channel, you should go check it out. I'll have a link in the description below. And he also said, yeah, shorter intro is better. So I lowered it down to about 15 seconds. Wait, enough chatting, time to get to the list. Number 13, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I know it's technically not an anime, it's American made. That's why I made it number 13, otherwise it probably would have made the top 5. Now, Avatar is undisputably one of the largest animated shows ever to be made, with a fan base that spans all ages. And rightfully so. It has a great story, has awesome action, great love stories, and has a great array of voice actors. And the show just fills you with a sense of wonder and adventure as you watch it. And that is why it made number 13 on my list. Number 12, Please Twins. Now, this was a hard call for me actually adding this show to my list. Granted, the show, nothing really to shout about, had alright story, ran for 12 episodes, had a couple of cute romance scenes and some funny scenes to top it off. What really made me want to add this show to my list was the sentimental value to me. Let me explain here. I started this show when I was about 11 years old, and that's when I really started to get into anime. It was one of the first shows I ever watched, and granted, I had seen anime before with shows like Pokemon and Sailor Moon, but granted, that was before I knew what anime was. And you know what? You never forget your first. That's why this show made number 12. Moving on to number 11. Number 11. Kaze No Stigma and Ouran High School Host Club. Now, putting in a tie for a place is technically cheating, but you know what? It's my list, my rules. These shows, I like them for similar reasons. That's also why I put them in the same spot. Ouran High School Host Club and Kaze No Stigma have the same sense of replay value. Anime, to me, one of the big things that I want is replay value, or just being able to rewatch it over and over again and still feel entertained. And rightfully so, the shows, I'm not saying they're bad by any means, they're actually very good shows. Kaze No Stigma has very interesting characters, and honestly, so does Ouran High School Host Club. Granted, the shows are pretty different. Well, not even pretty different, they're actually very different. But I like them for similar reasons as I could just go back and watch them whenever I want, and even jump on a random episode and still feel like I'm entertained. Kind of like with me in South Park. I can go back to any episode of South Park and still feel entertained. And that is why these two made my top 11. Moving on. Number 10. Gurren Lagann. What can I say about this show? It had a unique art style, it was funny, had over-the-top action, it was just all around very enjoyable. I love this show, I love the characters, and if I had to say one thing I really loved about the show, I guess it was the mechs. And for me, I usually hate mech shows, and I just love these mechs. They're very quirky and just funny to watch, and at the same time, OP and powerful. What I really liked was the main character, Simo. He was pretty cool, and I liked the fact that he went through the entire transformation from first arc to second arc. If you haven't watched it, I definitely suggest you do if you don't know what I'm talking about. And that is why Gurren Lagann makes number 10 on my list. Moving on. Number 9. Cornwall Zombie Asuka, or, translated to English, Is This a Zombie? This show just screams comedy. It's a satire about a zombie, a teenager turned into a zombie. That sounds pretty funny already. It has an array of boob jokes, it has cross-dressing, it has everything that just can make you laugh. I love this show for other reasons, also because it has probably one of the hottest girls in anime, which that's another list for another time, wink wink. But, I mean, there is some action and there's some darker themes to it, but let's face it, you watch this show for the comedy and nothing more, and it's worth it. Definitely go check out the show, especially if you love comedy and you love zombies. Let's face it, that's a combination that goes really well together, especially in this show. Aliens, superpowered humans, and a romance that makes Twilight look like crap. Number 11 is This Ugly Yet Beautiful World. Now this show made my list for similar reasons to number 12, but it's higher on the list because this show is actually very, very good. It has a great concept that technically has been done quite a bit, but at the time the show came out, the concept was still pretty new. It's a girls fall from outer space, yada yada yada, meets boy, yada yada yada, boy gets superpowers and fights monsters, yada yada yada. Again, as I said, it's a dated concept, but this show did it right, and it did it at a time when that concept was still pretty fresh and new. The art style was great for the time, and still holds up by today's standards in my opinion. And that's why This Ugly Yet Beautiful World made number 8 on my list. Number 7, Soul Eater. Now, if you've never heard of this show, then you've probably been living under a rock. Soul Eater is probably one of the most widely known anime of all time. It came out a few years ago, maybe I think 2006 is when it came out, and my god, it's popular for a good reason. The show is amazing. As you may have noticed, I like comedic anime, or at least anime that have decent comedic relief, and this show delivers on the comedy. It's so freaking funny. But it also has over-the-top awesome action, and the concept of people turning to weapons is amazing. I mean, this show can even make the Grim Reaper look funny, and I haven't seen something like that since The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, which was an awesome show as well. If you haven't heard this show, go watch it now. Get off this video, but not really, and go watch it. And if you have already seen it, again, finish this episode of Piggy Review first, then go watch it again. Okay, moving on to number 6. Number 6, Happy Lesson. Yet another show that made it to this list for more nostalgic and sentimental reasons more than anything. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Let's just, I guess why it's on my favorite anime of all time. Yeah. But all kidding aside, this show was great. It was originally made by endorsed by ADV Films and published in 2002. It's about a guy with 5 moms. A weird premise, I know, and that's what got me hooked on it and made me want to watch it. How is this possible, you ask? How does the guy have 5 moms? Well, go watch the show and find out for yourself. The show had very funny scenes, great family lessons, and it was just an all-around good show. The first season goes on for, I believe, 12 episodes, but honestly, I wouldn't watch any further than that. The second, you can go without watching the second or third season and really come out satisfied, because they take a negative direction after that. Really going in a downhill slope. Anyway, moving on to number 5. Number 5, Oh My Goddess. Oh My Goddess is probably my all-time favorite romance show. It's a little slow, and if you don't like your slice of life and slow romance anime, this is definitely not for you, but for me, I loved it. It was just one of those shows you can just go and watch whenever you want, jump on any episode, and still be entertained. The show went on for 2 seasons, had a movie, but that's nothing compared to how long the freaking manga is. The manga just ended in July of 2014, and it started in 1988. Wow, that's pretty damn long. Just wow, it makes me want to go read it. Although it'd probably take me forever to read it. Oh well, I'm satisfied with this show, and I hope you will be too. Moving on. Number 4, Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online is one of those shows that, to me, revolutionizes anime. It raises the standard, if you will, kind of like the movie Avatar from James Cameron. Not the live-action Last Airbender movie, that was terrible. But with groundbreaking animation, a very dark and intense story that also fills you with a sense of wonder and adventure, Sword Art Online is just an amazing show. It's relatable to gamers because it's in an MMO. It has great romance, family values, and I mean, granted, the show is a little slow. I mean, it feels pretty slow, and yet at the same time, it feels like it jumps way too much. But all in all, the show is great. If you haven't watched it, definitely go. Sword Art Online 2 is currently airing, and to me, it still holds up quite nicely. If you haven't, go watch it. If you have, watch it again. Number 3, Zero no Tetsukai, or as it translates into English, The Familiar of Zero. A comedy about a boy going into another world and being the familiar of a witch, or mage as some of you may want to call it. It's a great show that has a lot of edgy and a lot of great action. Definitely go watch it if you're into edgy and action. One of the big things that really got me hooked on the show is the array of characters and just the all-around kind of French influence the characters have. If I had to say anything bad about the show, I'd definitely say that the 4th season, they took a little bit of a downward spiral. Though not terrible, it just didn't hold up to the other 3 seasons. If you haven't, go watch it. If you have, go watch it again. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Moving on. Number 2, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, if you guys remember my first top 10 anime list, you will remember that this was originally at number 10 on the list. Instead, now I have it at number 2. Why is that? Well, the original reason I put it as number 10 is because the anime is widely popular, and that was back when I was trying to be a hipster. What? Otaku hipster. But I realized that I shouldn't bag on the show for being popular. It's popular for good reason. The show is great. It has a great array of character, it has a great mystery, the action is phenomenal. Now, personally, I prefer Brotherhood over the original Full Metal Alchemist. Some people prefer the original. Yada yada. I just felt like the story overall was a lot better and a lot brighter than the original Full Metal Alchemist. And if you kind of can tell, I'm not really a big fan of dark and depressing anime. I prefer comedies, and I prefer to laugh over to feel scared. Now, moving on. And now, time for honorable mentions. These are the shows that just quite didn't make the cut. But hey, it doesn't mean they're bad at all, and just totally check them out, too. all-time anime is... Come on, guys, you just totally know this one. It's Code Geass, of course. I love Code Geass. I love Lelouch. She's an awesome main character. I love all the side characters. They all had great stories, and I was actually interested in each one of them. The action was great, and for once, I love the mecha. I mean, usually I can't stand mechas, but this one I loved. Action was great, the animation style was pretty good for the time, and still is pretty good by today's standards. The only bad thing I would have to say is Season 2. But I'll let that slide. I mean, Season 2 had some okay things. I mean, the new model nightmares are pretty cool, I guess. But it really seemed like it was opening up for a third season. Come on, Bandai. Oh wait, it's not Bandai, is it? Come on, Sunrise. Give us Season 3 of Code Geass. You know you want to. Or at least give us Nightmares of Nanali. But yeah, this show is my all-time favorite. And it will be my favorite for probably a long time to come. I watched it when it originally came out, and it has stayed my favorite since then. I have yet to see a show that tops it. Alright guys, thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel. Like this video if you liked it. That like button does like to be pressed. Go check out the Piggy Review Facebook page. Try to start a discussion if you like, or if there's things you want to ask me, or suggestions for a future episode. Come on, bring it on. I'm always taking suggestions. There's also the Piggy Review Twitter page that you can go check out, and sure, follow me on there. Thanks guys for watching. See you next time.